Discover the natural power of ashwagandha, an ancient herb known for its healing properties. For over 3,000 years, ashwagandha has been trusted to reduce stress, increase energy, and improve focus. Our ashwagandha is carefully grown, harvested, and processed to retain its maximum potency. Each root is hand-picked and dried, then ground into a pure organic powder, ensuring the highest quality. Simply mix 1 teaspoon into your favorite beverage or take it in capsule form as prescribed by a healthcare professional. Whether you're looking to balance your stress levels, boost your immune system, or enhance mental clarity, ashwagandha offers a natural solution. Experience the benefits of ancient wisdom backed by modern science. Trust nature. Trust ashwagandha. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Yes, for only $3.90. Good afternoon, family. Hope you guys are doing amazing today. And of course, welcome to another beautiful episode of the Africa Today show, as we get to discuss literally the global news and what is happening on the continent or in the world. Karibuni sana. My name is Joby. Hope you are having a wonderful, easy Tuesday. For us, we've not been having the internet, but I'm glad it's back and working. And of course, apologies for not being able to bring the shows earlier. But I hope for those who shall be catching this, you get to enjoy. And of course, for those who shall be joining us as we get to continue, I hope you also get to enjoy. Karibuni sana once again. I'd love to urge you to subscribe, follow us on whatever stream you're listening to us from. And of course, after that, ensure you also download our app. Black Hot Fire Network is the name. Like you've heard from the likes of Asha Gwanda, the benefits it comes with. You can get yourself other more amazing organic supplements. Talking about Moringa Pure, CMOS, turmeric gummy bears, and so much. Brain and Focus formula, and so much other beauty supplements, and even coffee products, which are very, very organic. So ensure you have the app, and that's how you can get these amazing supplements from us. In case you have a question, or you want to be answered anything, we also have an active email, kcnewsam15@gmail.com. On today's conversation, we shall be talking about inflation crisis. Of course, we've been discussing about the current events of what has been happening regarding the war with Iran, Israel, the US, which I'll be sharing bits on that particular topic. I have a video that is explaining what the mainstream media is not telling us regarding that particular decision that was made. But we also have inflation crisis, which are actually about to get worse. So I'll be sharing a video with literally explaining how people right now cannot afford majority of even the basic things. They cannot afford literally the basic things because life is literally super, or things have become super expensive, especially in America. Of course, I'd say the economy is hitting everyone in every in the literally everyone globally, every corner of the world. I do believe economic crisis is something that right now is affecting so many people. But when you look at literally right now with the US and everything, talking about the dollar collapsing, which is something we also want to talk about. I'll be sharing deeper as we get to understand, before I get to share that video, as we get to understand again how the IMF and the World Bank literally were set up, and why is it actually the dollar is also collapsing. And then along that, we shall also be discussing, of course, another video which I have queued of a guy like sharing from Beachit. He's talking about how we have the controlled or pro pedophiles, with literally mentioning people like Oprah and how she set up this charity organization in South Africa and what it was literally all behind. But along that, we also want to talk about what is happening in the states of Philadelphia, where, of course, demonstrations did arise. This because of the mass deportation that has been happening. Of course, Trump is still very harsh with the him trying to make America better. Let me just say that literally is very harsh with these laws, rules and regulation that needs to be followed in America. And I don't know, is America getting better for you? Maybe for you who is listening. So I'll be sharing about that, where we've seen deportation army in Philadelphia. Of course, this is after protest. We also have Haitians who are very much now affected. As we can see, literally, the Department of Homeland Security said on Friday, it is terminating legal protection for hundreds of thousands of Haitians, and this is setting them up for potential deportation. We'll be talking about that in Trump, what he had to say. But for now, get yourself on Brain and Focus formula as we get started. I'll be coming back with that particular information of what is happening with Haitians being deported, what they had to say, but of course, some news and updates also coming from Africa. I want to talk about a little bit what is happening with Museveni, talking about how he wants to fight corruption, and also Dangote, who is, of course, the Africa billionaire, they say, and how he says, Africa, we have the capability of building heaven right here within 5 years if we really were careful and controlled our resources. But I'm like, you've not supported in anything, even making Nigeria better. So anyway, for now, get yourself some Brain and Focus formula. We'll be coming back with much more news and updates. This you can find on the BTFN Sports
Unlock
page.
your full potential with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Exactly. And of course, much more of those amazing organic supplements, beauty supplements, coffee, and so much. So ensure you have the application in case you don't have. Also, do give a cent of your donation if you can, maybe $5, $2, $1. We do appreciate whatever you can give to us to keep our studios running, and of course, feeding you this information that you get straight from us, which is nothing but the truth. But before we get into the conversation of the day, like I said, of course, a little bit of the news and updates I'll be bringing from also Africa before we get into the deeper details of what is happening in America. But I want to have shared this amazing fact. Of course, like we said, or I've been sharing lately, we've been learning every single time that there's hidden history that you won't understand. There's hidden history that you've not learned. Let me not say understand. There's hidden history that you've not been taught. There's hidden history that you don't know anything about, and it's amazing to see most of this history also coming back to us, trying to understand and make us understand deeper who we are, why our history is affected the way it is, and how can we handle it today. I have this article which is talking about how, of course, racism is taught from the from the very go. There's the inferiority taught to black children and the superiority being instilled in white children to always feel like they're superior than the black children. This image you can see on your screen talks about how if the child on the left, I don't know if you guys can see it wide enough. This is the image. You can see the child on the left is picking cotton. So the article says if the child on the left was old enough to pick cotton and the child on the right was old enough to attend a clan, that is the KK, Ku Clan rallies, then today's children are old enough to learn about both this and how it has led us to where we are today. Literally, basically talking about history, because the image is seen on your screen. This is very disturbing. I saw this today and this even disturbed my head. I'm like, these people literally were having children this age, working with their parents, making them pick cottons. Like, are you really processing that? Because this is what you're seeing on your screen. These people literally forced children this age to participate in slavery. It's crazy and it is super, super painful. But of course, I wanted to share that before we go deeper on other news and updates. Every day, I'll be sharing something informative, educative, of course, in case I bump into it. But as we get into the news and updates of what is happening in Africa, we have Museveni. Of course, Museveni did say he wants to vie for another presidential seat. Understand, this man has been in power since literally 1985, talking about literally almost 40 years of dictatorship. Now, development in Uganda. You can't say that there's any development, any job opportunities, any infrastructures, anything that is actually brought or is supposed to live for Ugandans or hold himself accountable for all those years of being a so-called president. But he also adds that he's not only he doesn't. We saw him apologizing to the the Baganda community to be specific, the Baganda people, telling them how he's very sorry for the things he's really done. But he also says that he's promising to fight corruption if elected for another term. That is Museveni. Uganda's 80-year-old President Yoweri Museveni, who has ruled the country since 1985, has promised to tackle corruption if given another term in office. I mean, how many more terms do you need for you to fight for corruption? You're already actually promoting what is very illegal, nepotism in your regime, appointing people, only members of your family, so that you won't be overthrown. So that is not actually practicing democracy, and you're not leading your country towards democracy in any sort of way. That is illegal, but it is happening. So how are you going to fight corruption? That is one of the ways you should fight corruption. Let fire your son. You should fire your son. You should resign and allow someone else, allow the young people to participate in politics or in election if it really makes sense. But telling us that you really want more terms for you to keep on giving us empty promises and threats of dictatorship, it's not going to work, because this is what we're going to be having. The same things we've been having for years, of having the so-called leaders of Africa always presenting us, going to these summits, talking about how they want to see the best in their own people and their country, take loans, but there's no development we see in our country. The loans only benefit actually them and the people giving the loans. It doesn't benefit us, doesn't benefit the country. You see people like him and Kagame talking about how we have resources in Africa and we're so rich. We're not supposed to be depending on Western nations on anything, but yet they have failed to take fully control and charge of our own resources. Listen to Dangote right here.
Africa into a heaven in the next 5 years. It doesn't take time.
So how are you?
Because I mean, you know, like what I keep saying, you need to think big, then you grow big. You think small, you never grow.
Okay, but the reality is right now we're still relying on foreign partners. To create more African banks is going to take some time. So what's your solution?
Well, the solution is that right now people have seen exactly what what they've been doing. We don't expect the international banks to do, but we should also make sure that we have you see, for us to grow, we need a very strong financial institutions. We need to have good manufacturing base. We need to also face agriculture. All the other artificial intelligence,
which all those sectors is talking about, they have all failed to actually give to African people. To talk about controlling our own resources, Nigeria does not control fuel. He owns majority of the share actually in fuel. This man, I don't care what, because I think like Kid tries to defend him. He did come up with a refinery company, and of course the US doesn't want this to succeed because it's going to benefit the people, but he's not pushing it so hard. We're talking about a man who's declared a billionaire from Nigeria. How has he helped he hasn't helped the livelihoods of Nigerians in any sort of way. As a matter of fact, if you look at the documentary of this man, he's mistreating his employees. He's not been paying them correctly. And if you go demand for your pay, well, you get fired in his company. So what is he talking about? And that is what we're saying. Listen, we can't keep on having this type of African leaders telling us we need more time for us to undo the mistakes that you've had 40 years of the same political anthem, the same anthem of give me more time. Or Africa has resources, but it's only going to take us 5 years for us to do better. What have you done for the last 40 years? Nigeria is sinking in debt, sinking in poverty. Nigerians are all over the world because of such kind of people, the so-called billionaires who have done nothing for the people. So he's talking rubbish. Anyone who's believing this, it's crazy because African people fall for these petty words. Question what has he done for his people? This guy owns cemetery companies in most of the African countries. I think he has businesses. His companies are in 10 African countries, but doesn't pay his people well. So please don't talk to us about anything about development. There's no development you're doing for Africa. Karibu sana Keith.
Nah, Santi Sonic, no, you even alive, Joe.
I said hi to you too. I said hi to you, then you disappeared. You acted like you didn't see me. I was like, okay, cool. I'm
I
just
did
gonna
see you.
all right.
I,
Anyway,
I,
Karibu sana
I,
if you're having
I didn't see you.
oh,
Calm down.
if you're having
Who you talking about? Are you talking about Tinubu crazy butt?
Dangote. He's talking about
Oh,
how Africa has the capability of, building heaven, within itself in just within 5 years. And the question is, what has it done him being a billionaire to his people? Because with the list he's done, it doesn't even
all billionaires are
match.
evil, Joe. All billionaires are evil because that means you've stolen someone else's labor to make you a billionaire. It's all billionaires should be illegal in any humane society. So, but we live. I told you, we have a system. We have a system set up and created by psychopaths.
Mm-hmm.
Psychopaths rule the world. That's why you got billionaires. Everything they do is always wicked and evil. Always. It's stealing up somebody's labor to make them wealth while they sit back and do nothing, and then the dumb masses are like a gambler, stupid. Ooh, he's a billionaire, and ooh, I want to be just like that. Ooh, I want to live that kind of life. We
I
got
don't think Kamlesh is stupid. I think he just makes sarcasm out of it,
and
you know.
Would be totally a different story. You know, people now always come and talk about corruption, corruption. Of course, Africa is not the only place that you have corruption. Corruption is all over the place. The only difference is that our corrupt people, when they steal the money, they take it, they fly the money out of the continent. If they continue to invest here, fine, then the economy will grow.
As if that's not what is done. Listen to the people clapping. You should be there, and that's why you need literally critical thinkers in the room to raise questions that actually should bring answers to the majority of the people who are seeking answers. How did you become a billionaire? Because if you look at him, they claim it comes from the generation of his father. How did his father become a billionaire? We all, again, we follow the money. Look at his traces of him literally funding
because
his
his
business.
father because his father had money. His father was corrupt. His father was corrupt too.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We go back to his father, because I remember me sharing a documentary about him and his dad. He inherited a picture of his, and then he said, you remember he defended himself. He said, I've built everything from the scratch. This was not inheritance from my father. It's crazy. And it's crazy. And that is what Museveni is trying to do to Ugandans. Claiming he's fighting. Don't give him another. Don't go to the streets, rig those elections, actually make them impossible. If you need Kenyans again to come help you so that you can choose another year of electing another president, tell us. Our people are very much, willing to help liberate other countries. Uganda was supposed to have elections this year, but they switched it to next year because Kenyans went there to vote to remove Museveni out of power. And now he says he's going to fight corruption. What corruption? You're the most corrupt person and the most selfish leader like the majority and the rest. We've mentioned so many of them. We have Paul Biya from Cameroon. We have the Equatorial Guinea president, and so many of them. They have been ruling for more than 30 years right now. And
Of
there's
course,
nothing being done for the people. And they still want to be in power.
because they're
What
all
for?
public. Because Joby, they don't. You wouldn't let them. You wouldn't allow them to even be goddamn leader of a KFC. Manager of a KFC let on a country. They can't do nothing else. That's why they gonna stay in power. That's how they stole their wealth. They never built anything. They don't know how to, that's why the Europeans put them there, Joe. That's why the Europeans put that Salute lady right now in Tanzania because she's a moron. These are morons, Joe, on purpose.
Mhm.
Until you overthrow them. Shout out to the people saying, remember should that be about that lady? I'm saying she told we need all Africa to have the spirit of the Kenyans now. Yeah. Kenya's the only ones now finally saying enough is enough.
Mhm.
You can only have this in Africa, Joe, because Africans are kind and loving. So they like to be, they like to, I want to be peaceful and blah, blah, blah. That's why you got leaders are so bad. You can't have nobody lead no country for 50 and 40 years like this and live in poverty. They're going to cause a what? A revolution. Only in a calm Africa can you have this. You can't have this nowhere on the planet. No one's going to settle for this shit for 40 years. No one's gonna. No one's gonna keep saying, "Wait on Allah, Jesus, or whatever kind of magical figure you're talking about." Shit, I'm waiting 40 years. The motherfucker ain't showed up yet. Tired of waiting. Shit, they gonna tell you.
But as we move on from what is happening in Africa, we have, of course, also our fellow African brothers and sisters from Haiti affected right now because we have the Department of Homeland Security, which did report on Friday that it is terminating the legal protection for hundreds of thousands of Haitians, and this is setting them up for potential deportation. I have a video I want to share also of Trump, what he had to
Hey,
say about that.
I'm,
But
I'm, I'm gonna tell you something, you goofy African Negroes. Same what you're doing in Britain right now, not uniting. You got the Caribbeans not uniting with the Africans who've come in the Britain. You done the same tribal shit in America, and the Black Americans said you didn't want to unite with the Black Americans. So Trump is getting rid of all you Negroes that came in, your Nigerians, your Haitians, and your allies you would have had with Black Americans, but you didn't ally with it. You wanted to play your same tribal shit. So now you're being thrown out, and your kids are not going to be allowed to have babies. And they say, oh, they're Americans. No, they're not. They're getting rid of that. So all you
I
Nigerians, Ethiopians, Somalis came here with your tribal shit. You should have never came here with. So now you don't got no allies. The African Americans are not fighting for you. This ain't good riddance. Get you. They like acting like South Africa. This ain't good riddance. Get your ass out of here.
hmm, crazy. So let me share this as it comes to me.
Not yet. Let me get
On the
straight
ground
first. Go ahead,
in
Joby.
Haiti tonight, just hours after the Trump administration announced it's ending TPS for Haitians. Those living in the U.S. and right here in South Florida now face deportation. Good evening. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Elliot Rodriguez has the night off.
I
We are
live
the
in
only
Florida.
South Florida
Anybody
news
live in
station with a
Florida?
reporter.
We've had problem with Haitians forever. I told you. I tried to tell you Haitians a while ago. I said they're gonna throw you niggas out. I said you keep thinking you're part of the white man and all that old shit you thinking. Okay, okay. They're gonna show you better than I can tell you, and they're showing you now. You didn't want to unite with your African people, so hey, I don't feel no sad. I don't feel no sadness for you because hey, you better stop. You're learning to unite. Stop touching that dirtbag culture. Hey, I can't tell you. So you're not gonna get no African Americans in the street fighting for you. They're gonna say good. They're gonna tell you, okay, goodbye, good, get your ass out of here. Because you're gonna have to learn as African people that you need each other. Your tribal shit, you haven't learned it. Okay, well, you keep. Oh no, I don't want to be with the Black Americans. I'm here to get money and be with the white people. The white man likes me. The white man don't like your stupid ass. Okay. You've been all told, oh, African Americans are lazy. Motherfucker, we built the country. Hell, you talking about lazy? You talking, those things are lazy. but that's what you said. So now the African Americans are telling you, okay, good riddance to your fucking ass. Good riddance. So no one's there to fight in the street for your fuck ass. So that's what's happening. You better take your tribal shit and think, I'm gonna unite with the white man. The white man always shows you that he's the white man. Go ahead, Joby. You got it.
I feel like understanding where majority of Africans, Caribbeans, anyone who's not grown up in America and moves in the States and doesn't wanna get involved with Black Americans. To my thinking, okay, maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. Looking at how the white supremacy has destroyed the history of both the Africans in the continent and Africans in America, it would make sense why, if I come there, I don't want to be associated with you. And listen, why I'm saying this, because we saw the mainstream media literally what it's promoted a lot and what it has been doing even now, which has gotten worse, talking about the music and
Of course,
everything.
of course, that's what you see exactly. But you're supposed to be smart enough to know that that's bullshit. And so since you,
It is bullshit, but I do believe probably there are people who are must have been caught in the
okay, you got
propaganda.
it. All right.
There are people who must have been caught up in the propaganda of what the media was literally saying and promoting. So, you're in a new place, all you want to do is just do your job, and then you have someone telling you, we can be brothers and sisters. What do you mean? We can be gangs, we can go and steal. That's what we see on the TV about you guys. So I don't want to be associated with you. So according to my thinking, probably just
Of course,
being,
that's true. Exactly
yeah,
true, Joby. You're right.
that is what probably
Are you kidding me?
to that code. And they thought maybe being tribal, being, keeping it to themselves was the best way of protecting themselves from the system. But anyway.
In Haiti right now, CBS News Miami's Tanya Francois joins us from Cap Haitian with the exclusive reaction.
Here in Cap Haitian, the news of TPS ending and the hundreds of thousands of people returning back here spread very quickly. It seems to be the only thing people have been talking about. Now, you are looking at the market area of downtown Cap Haitian from this afternoon. The streets are packed with people trying to shop and go about their day. Already moving through traffic was very difficult. The roads at times heavily congested. The people who live here say they've seen the population sharply increase because of people escaping gang violence in Port-au-Prince.
It's crazy. This is just super insane and super sad because the same people
And
just
they come from by exactly. How you gonna tell me? And they come from by just like that in Jamaica too. Jamaica's violent, Haiti's violent because they haven't picked their country. They keep running away. They haven't fixed the shit there. So that's what's happening. And then you want to talk about the TV, Joby? You want to talk about the TV shows us in the light? They don't show us like no shit like this. And I live in Florida, so you can't defend no Haitians to me, Joby. You can't defend no Jamaicans to me. I live in Florida, and the disrespect you get from these motherfuckers is absolutely insane. I tell you, the level of tribalism and disrespect and talking crazy because they enjoy that as African people. Something wrong with African people. They enjoy talking about other Africans instead of United. They enjoy that shit. Okay, because we gave them nothing but love coming in because we thought everybody was the same. And they gave us nothing but their ass to swallow and disrespect.
it's crazy. But as we continue, literally as we talk about Jamaica, but I'm also saying literally how the US is also on the wrong on this because and I
They're
still
not wrong. That's who they are. They're racist. That's who they are. So they thought Joe, but they were going to look. These Negroes thought they were going to be able to have a seat under white supremacy, right? That's what they keep thinking, not understanding that white supremacy will always bite them in the ass because they want to unite with their enemies. Okay, that's what they do. All these Negroes, I don't want to be with black people because you're the lowest on the bottom and you're the lowest in your country, you moron. You haven't built shit in no fucking Haiti. That's broken down backward ass shit. So instead of you coming and you grouping Negroes in Jamaica, you got Chinese and other people come and dominate your weak ass. You would have count with somebody strong, but you're weak. But you get to talk shit, and so now the white man and give you a little money, a little position. But we told you he was coming for your stupid ass. We told you he was coming to get that ass. And you better unite. But no, I like Joe said, the propaganda work. I don't want to unite with you Negro. I seen the TV and all this other shit. Oh, but you didn't see all the inventions, everything we created, everything we done to try to help your ass. Okay, cool. Okay. I heard not everybody, majority. I heard some Haitians and Jamaican youngsters telling the truth. But okay, because you wouldn't even got here if it wasn't for us. We fought in the streets to get you bootlicking niggas in here. We fought in the streets. Our parents died for your ass to get your ass here. And to get this disrespect, we fought to get you bootlicking handkerchief head niggas. Because we didn't know you was handkerchief heads. Your culture has always been submissive and taking it up the ass. That's your culture. African Americans, we've always fought because of our slave history. Always had to fight. So now that they're coming for you, now you're all in all these. Because I go in all these rooms. Oh, brother, we're the African, and now you Negroes are just like the Mexicans and the Palestinians. We're the Black Americans too. Where you at, brother? Now we're your brother. No, nigga, get on the bus and get your ass to the plane or the boat, whatever they do, and ship your ass out of here.
That's great.
That's the brother I'm giving you. You're going to have to learn this lesson. You're going to have to learn it. Go ahead, Joe.
But you also need to understand that the US is also behind most of the Haitians running away from their country. It's not because I feel like
of course they are. But exactly. So then why would you come and unite with the same person that's fucking you up there?
That's the problem. They know that. That's the problem now. Because not understanding where you're coming from, and then trying to go to unite with the same people trying to destroy you back in your house. You sound crazy, Your enemy is in your house, then you want to go become a friend with your enemy in their own house. Are you crazy? And you want to get
That's what they do. That's what they do, Joby.
And you can be disrespectful to the people now who have been there before you. Those who can guide you. That is super, super wrong. But looking at it, just like
the Nigerian coming to Kenya being disrespectful. You don't got the right to, and just like you told me, you ain't got the right to. I'm gonna send you back to Nigeria, and that's right.
In Haiti, we know it's literally all because of resources. That's why these people's lives literally also, and the country is in this crisis situation it is in today. Looking at also Jamaica, I was reading an article earlier today which was talking about how Jamaica might be sitting on an estimated $700 billion barrels of pure oil. And thinking about it, I was like, we already have the Chinese there, mind you, who are already taking over the beaches and most of the places. Now, imagine now if this is real, because where there's smoke, there's fire, it's real, there's literally these tons of oil, pure oil and gas that is seated in Jamaica, then we should expect literally more of the people being displaced now. We're gonna be having Jamaicans trying to run away from
Joby, you remember what that Chinese Jamaican lady said?
Of the market.
You remember what that Chinese lady said in Jamaica? You black people ain't even Jamaicans no more. She was telling them they weren't even Jamaicans.
So you gotta know, Africans, we have to understand how to live with each other. You have to understand to live with one another. Of course, some of our people are really crazy globally. You don't expect everyone to be in their right mind, but majority of us are in our right mind. So if you learn how to live with people, trust me, you live anywhere. You will live anywhere. That's one thing personally I've learned growing up with my crisis and all that. Like living with people, no matter how they treated me, enabled me to live anywhere. And I was very good literally with that. And I've been good with that. So, and that should apply to all of us because we're constantly literally being hit by wars. We are the target. This is literally a war about us. This political war is about us to keep this other race surviving. And the fact we don't really understand this is sad. We need each other to survive. We need each other to survive. We need each other. This is
How about that? That's a fact. How about that?
You don't need your fellow. You need people to survive. You can't survive alone. Trust me. Even if you're left alone, you say now handle your life. You don't need to connect with people. You don't need to work. Who's gonna pay you? How are you gonna make money? People can't even come to your shop. You need people to survive. So it's crazy.
Now, the thought of even more people coming here has one Haitian man very worried.
We got to deal with that gang situation and, humanitarian situation. All those people need food and stuff like that. We don't have that. We don't have health care, all that. When we're going to receive all those people, that's going to be a real problem, I can tell you.
There's already housing problems here right now. And if you saw downtown,
housing problems because white people are living in their houses comfortably, which should be also yours. If you look at the beach, they're showing you literally that's the dirtiest beach I've seen in Haiti. And if you look at the beaches in Haiti, so many of them are beautiful, but the mainstream media get to show you.
But they not in them. They're not in them.
Mm,
They're not in them, Joby. Those
exactly.
those Haitians ain't in them. That's what you need to know.
It's insane. And you need to, the same way, this is why it's important for us to have leaders with strategy and leaders who are actually applying pressure by pressure. Because Trump, what he's doing to African countries is total disrespect on your faces. On your faces. And this because you have these weak leaders who are not daring to question back or to Okay, sorry about that. So as we continue, let me share the video had queued in here. We hear what Trump had to say about this.
We will do large deportations from Springfield, Ohio. Large deportations. We're going to get these people out. We're bringing them back to Venezuela. You know, he told Biden he's not accepting anybody back. They moved all their criminals, not all of them, but the rest are moving in now. They emptied their jails in Venezuela, emptied their criminals, emptied the nests. They call them nests of bad people. They're all now in the United States, and they're now taking over cities. It's like an invasion from within. But we're going to have the largest deportation in the history of our country, and we're going to start with Springfield and Aurora.
The Trump administration has moved to terminate deportation protections for Haitians living in the United States. This affects around 500,000 Haitians who have lived in the U.S. under temporary protected status, or TPS, for years. The Department of Homeland Security confirmed that the TPS program for Haitians will officially expire on August 3rd, 2020.
It's crazy. In their own country, you have temporary protection status, but their citizens have, I believe, permanent protection status in your own country. Why people try do something to a white person, you in your own country, try even like, you're minding your business, walking in a beach, or even it's crazy because they always feel like that is their own place. You shouldn't be there. You don't need to be there. You try it. We've seen how Indians, Asians, all these all other races literally how they're being treated in the continent of Africa. But you try as an African, no matter where you're coming from, you try it.
25, with deportations set to begin as early as September 2nd, 2025. TPS was granted after the 2010 earthquake, allowing Haitians to live and work legally in the U.S., but Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says conditions have improved, despite warnings to the
conditions have improved while they are literally fueling funds there to keep the situation. It's crazy. What condition has improved? These are the same people reporting to us back to back how the gang members, these pirates, they're taking control of cities and all that. Mind you, we are the US funding other African countries to deploy troops to handle the situation, but we've not had any reports yet of how the situation is being handled by these troops who are deployed from other African countries. We saw Haitians demonstrating about the same situation, actually African countries being turned against each other. So what are we talking about? The situation is getting, what?
Contrary. Therefore, DHS is now urging TPS holders to return to Haiti.
So it's sad that we've been living with this, the mainstream media, as it's so crazy. It's such a big, dangerous weapon, feeding a whole lot of narrative propaganda for people to believe in, while the reality of what is happening is never told.
Using a mobile app called CBP Home. The Department of State, nonetheless, has not changed its travel advisory and still recommends Americans do not travel to Haiti due to kidnapping, crime, civil unrest.
Exactly. So how's the situation gotten better? You advise your own citizens not to go to this country, but yet want the... It's insane.
And limited health care. This announcement follows the administration's broader campaign to end protections for immigrants from crisis-hit nations. TPS holders from countries like
from crisis-hit nation. Pause there, okay? I'm just gonna pause there. Now, let me share this video of what the US is doing to Somali, all right? Crisis-hit nation, as if they have improved any situation. What is the US doing to Somali?
Why is Trump bombing Somalia? Why is Trump bombing Somalia? So apparently, and this is according to Al Jazeera, and it says here that AFRICOM, which oversees the US military operations on the continent, has carried out at least 43 airstrikes in Somalia in 2025. According to think tank New America, which tracks strikes using AFRICOM data, more than half of those which are conducted were conducted in coordination with Somalia's federal government. Apparently, they are targeting IS Somalia and ISO affiliate in the northeast of Puntland state. While they say they're still targeting Al-Shabaab. What is interesting is a comment that I came across. And this comment is from somebody called Jethro Norman, a researcher with the Danish Institute for International Studies. And they're suggesting that in Somalia, Trump has made an ideal stage on which to remotely project US power capabilities as it combines high firepower, low oversight, and little US domestic political risk. So he's doing it because people in America don't care about people in Somalia. They don't care if people in Somalia are unalived. They don't care. So it's low risk. It's not going to affect his career. What is it about these American presidents? If you look at the aggression that America has shown in Somalia and the strikes, it says here that...
I told you guys Somalia was one of the countries they were going to take over. And I'll explain that to you guys.
So
and that's the catch with the hat.
Civilian victims of US airstrikes, particularly under the previous Trump administration, speaks volumes. It reveals a profound lack of transparency that is deeply concerning, said Eva Buzo, the executive director of Victims Advocacy International, an organization that seeks accountability for victims of human rights abuses in conflict zones. So the US also acknowledges harm to civilians and has allocated funds, yet continues to avoid to do exactly the same as they have always done. And so the US strikes so the years of strikes are believed to have killed anywhere between 33 to 167 civilians.
Yeah, so that's the video I wanted to share, just to connect the dots quickly with what the other video is literally saying as we go back to it. Because what is this administration saying? And what is the what is the mainstream media saying? They're making situation worse for people and still sending them back to their country. This is insane.
It's called Joby. Say this word with me one more time. Say psychopathy.
Mhm. It's
Psychopathy.
is insane. You can understand because you can even see the lady is confused because you don't understand this level of psychopathy. You don't understand this level of just mindset and thinking. You said you're gonna make the situation better. You're gonna make America better. And the rest of the world believed once you make America better, the rest of the things becomes better. But no, everything is
No,
becoming
no, Joe. Told you. They don't mind having you sit in shit and live in shit and then keep stealing from you. That's the whole thing they're doing in Africa. They're doing in Haiti too. Get back and be miserable, be fucked up. We'll destroy the country, but we'll get rich off your back. You're too cowardly to fight us, so you're gonna live in shit, Joe.
Afghanistan, Venezuela, Sudan, and Lebanon have also faced similar
That's why Iran's
ramifications.
country's not like. See, this is what
In
they want
May,
to do
the
to Iran, Joe. But Iran fought. What the?
Supreme Court allowed the administration to proceed with the termination of TPS for Venezuelans and to rescind a separate status known as parole for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. During his campaign and current term, President Trump has made mass deportations and the rollback of humanitarian protections central to his immigration policy. He has argued that TPS and similar programs have been misused and extended beyond their original intent.
Not only is Comrade Kamala allowing illegal aliens,
and so have the U.S. Residents, especially the white ones, overstayed in Africa. Can you talk about how each and every one of them can be evacuated from our own
They're left,
homeland?
yeah, they're left alone, Joe. And they get rid of immigrants, Joe, but then they bring in South African whites. You
Exactly.
better,
We have
you
to
better,
bring in
under, you better understand how things work, Joby, globally.
I do. And we need to understand. Now, I do. Africans need to start understanding. And this has to, I can't count on these leaders. I can't literally call on this. It's us, the majority. You need to start understanding how things are working. It's crazy. It's critical. What we were talking about again, critical thinking yesterday, and a friend mentioned critical thinking is no longer there amongst us as people. It's
They're not,
insane.
of course, they're not gonna know what you know, Joby. Does it?
No, no. We had critical. I was arguing with you about this. I think last week, telling you about critical thinking, and I remember even Kamlesh saying, "Oh, you can teach people critical thinking." Okay, fine, but there's just calculate some 1, 2, 3 things and question something. How was I able to question things without even knowing everything I know today? This is insane, man. You can't tell me I'll react the way you're reacting. If you're kicking my people out, so do your people. I'm gonna be kicked out. I don't care if you are an ancestor, great Mongolian ancestry idiot existing in Africa. You need to go. You never came with no land here. Go find your land in England somewhere. You don't belong here. Look at the history books correctly and be told where you come from. You had nothing. Nothing.
to stampede across our border.
The hell?
But then it was announced about a year ago that they're actually flying them in. Nobody knew that. They were secretly flying in hundreds of thousands of people. Some of the worst murderers and terrorists you've ever seen. They were taken.
That also shows, of course, how America has failed in the matters of security. How incapable, how why were people being flown in your country without, of course, I understand you are not the president by that time. But if America is so great, if America is so democratic, it follows rules and laws, why is it that if I'm a president personally and I have people, employed on sectors of security, I should be
Because
very aware. They should be very aware.
Joby, that was the policy. Hold on, Joby. The J, look, you understand what they do. So the Jays, Joby, the cats want to flood countries with other people so they won't be nationalistic. So
I
you want to put
remember.
other cultures in here so people will never find out that it's them doing it and they won't never fight against them as they rule these countries. So that's what they're doing in Europe too. They're flooding illegal aliens everywhere, so it makes the Jays rule over the countries easier. So no one can ever unite. See, you can't unite when with different people, different customs. because different cultures because they're not your people. So that's what that's what they doing. They do that to take over a country. So.
It's crazy.
Anybody that wanted to come in, and they're flying them in. So when they tell you about their borders a little bit better than it used to be, they only did that for election reasons. Not good, but it's a little bit better. But they don't tell you that the flights are still coming in here, bringing in thousands and thousands of illegal aliens, and they're being dropped into the midsection.
Remember when we showed that video? Remember when you showed that video of all the Africans and other people, the Arabs, going into Italy and France, and you seen it was a hat organization that was doing it.
Yes.
It was they did the same thing. Same thing they doing here. They control the plant, so it makes them safer for them to control the world. If they mix up culture, you won't have nothing. You won't know what you're fighting for. So it makes them to be able to rule the world easier like that.
I do recall us discussing it because this was literally happening during the Biden administration, and they were very comfortable with it. We
Yeah,
discussed it
they're
on
the
many.
ones doing it because they controlled by the same people. Exactly.
Yeah, it's insane how just applying the sarcasm. It's crazy how Trump is acting, as if they didn't know what was happening. It's insane. Calling
It's
them
all,
aliens.
yeah, he knows exactly. He knows what's going on because he's ruled by the same people. But he knows his people that elected him don't want that. Are mad, so they're more nationalistic, and they think he's trying to help them. Actually, he's not. Trump is not really getting the aliens out. He might be getting some of the black ones out, but he's not really getting a bunch of them out. That's all shock and awe.
Because all states are really border states right now, and I'm the border president. I solved it in 2016. Probably got elected because of that in 2016, and really there was nothing to do in 2020. I said to my people, I want to talk about the border, what a job I did. They said, sir, nobody cares you did it. It was good. We went from a terrible border to a great border very quickly. Did a great job. And then I come in and I look at what's happening now, and the only difference is that the border in 2016 was 1/20th what it is now. We have the worst border in the history of the world. There's never been a border like this. And I want to be the border president, and I hope you call me the border president because I'm going to show you what a border security job we can do. And
We'll see as the time literally continues, because all this yapping is not making America great at all. We've seen so far how you've gone, Trump. So the yapping is not saving America, save it. But anyway, as we continue, or before I get to continue to share a video right here, talking a little bit of some news and information coming from Iran-Israel situation that, of course, the mainstream media doesn't want to talk about. I'm going to go through the comments very quickly. Sidra Mosquito in the building, Jiba Jabba, shout out to Ricky, shout out to Jason, shout out to Byron Scott, and to all the silent listeners on Rumble Beachwood, of course, on the radio, and to those who shall be catching this on Spotify. Leave your comments, subscribe if this is your first time, and of course, ensure you also download our app. Blackout Fire Network is the name. And of course, Jiba Jabba says, hi, Joby. Is that Tom Ron Heil? Tom Ron Heil? I don't know who's that, but yeah, I'm doing good. Hope you're doing amazing as well. I say, saying the weather on your end, it's raining. Today, at least for us, it's been not that super cold. It's a cold month, literally, in the month of cold, but today it's not been that cold as yesterday. So, of course, thank you for the update. I don't know what's the weather on your end, Keith. What's the weather on your end? I don't know. But Jipeta also says, just wait.
Hot as shit. That's the weather on my end.
Oh, okay. Okay, girl,
Hot as shit.
your AC on and everything. But Jibba says just wait.
I'm outside.
A white baby saying the N word. It's crazy. It's super insane. Exactly the article I just shared. And then also see you saying my grandparents picked cotton at the age of sharecropping. That's crazy, man. That image is so disturbing. And again, you ask yourself, how deep, what is the level of psychopathy or evilness with these people? What's the level? I still can't process that these people were using golf and eating children,
The
playing.
level is bottomless. Yeah, they eat children. They ate their own children for years. That's their culture. They think go them nursery rhymes about eating kids, Yogi.
This is crazy. Not even eating. I'm not even talking about eating. There's when you were talking the video I was sharing, it was talking about how they were eating children with golfs. They set a child somewhere on the ground, then the head would remain, and then it's super, super crazy. It's crazy. And you just do, you do even nothing as a black person, but you're still a threat to them. Crazy. Shout out to you, Byron Scott, once again. Jason, once again, Caribou. Byron Scott says, "Kid, they are rare earth elements throughout the Caribbean worth trillions." Okay, that's amazing. And of course, makes sense why there's funds being flooded there to ensure the people leave this particular area so they can fully take control of these mineral resources. It's sad, because our leaders have allowed this to happen. Ricky also says, so you're telling me that these $1 million churches that Africa built in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, going back to the white daddy and mommy? Not really sure. I've not heard about that history. But of course, if you talk about the civilization or anything, we really were involved. Still it, so I wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't be something surprising to me. I think there's somewhere where I read something like that, but I can't remember where. So
Joby said how far the evil goes. It's endless, Joby. I'm gonna have you post. Let me see if it's on TikTok. This one history. Okay. Yeah, it's something called the Third Crusade. They call themselves going to steal Jerusalem again, the Third Crusade. So they had a bunch of children who marched from Europe down to what they call it's Northeast Africa, but the Middle East, right? But the children couldn't get the boats, the ships, to go across the Mediterranean. And so their own people, these children, their own people ate them, Joe.
What?
What? What is up, Joby? Say, because you're not gonna find it on Google. It used to be on there. Google's hiding everything now. Say, Third Crusade children get eating. I put that on YouTube. I put it on. You probably put it on YouTube. Say Third Crusade children. The Third Crusade's children get eating. So since they didn't have a boat, the people ate them. The Europeans ate their own children. Ate them. That's why they want to teach you their history, Joe. You say, how evil can it be? It's endless, Joe. You're on TikTok, say that you can say, their cruelty, their animosity is endless, Joe. It's endless.
Crusade, come again.
Crusade. Say the Third Crusades. Crusades. You guys go Crusades for Joe. Third Crusades. Okay. Children. Say the Third Crusades. Children get eaten.
Damn.
They've always been eating their babies, Shelby. Eating them. Sure. Yum, 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 yum. They were the cannibals. Just the Africans are cannibals. A lie. There you go. Crusade history. There you go. That's why they want you to know. They don't want you to know none of their real history.
Were military campaigns waged by Western European Christians during the Middle Ages for the defense and expansion of Christendom. What made a crusade distinct was that warriors involved in the fighting received spiritual merit, usually a plenary.
Remember, they were still. Remember, all these people still ignorant because the Africans didn't. Remember, Joby, all these ignorant, all these Africans. I mean, all these Europeans were ignorant, Joby.
The love of Christ. 4 centuries before the beginning of the Crusades, the first Muslim armies swept out of Arabia to conquer Palestine, Syria, Mesopotamia, Egypt, North Africa, and Spain, some 2/3 of the Christian world. Between the 7th and 11th centuries, Christians fought wars against Muslims to prevent them from making further conquests into Christian territory, or to reconquer what had already been captured. In Spain, Christian kingdoms waged wars to recapture their homeland from the Arabs, while the Byzantine Empire in the east was engaged in centuries of war with the Muslims for control of Anatolia and other regions. In the 11th century,
Syria, guys.
The Seljuk Turks, recent converts to Islam, swept through Syria and Palestine. In 1071, they defeated the Byzantines at the Battle of Manzikert, conquering almost all of Anatolia.
I understand. These are Seljukian Turks. These are not the Ottoman Turks. These are Seljukian Turks. They came before. These are the Turks you see now all in North Africa today. All these Turks, right? These Turkey people. I told you that's what you see. They're not Arabs. They would classify them. These are all Turks. Go ahead, Joey.
Let me restart it again. I was using the washroom, so can
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Spiritual merit, usually a plenary indulgence granted by the Pope. A crusade was considered by Western European Christians to be a holy act, an act of sacrifice and piety for the love of Christ. 4 centuries before the beginning of the Crusades, the first Muslim armies swept out of Arabia to conquer Palestine, Syria, Mesopotamia, Egypt, North Africa, and Spain, some 2/3 of the Christian world. Between the 7th and 11th centuries, Christians fought wars against Muslims to prevent them from making further conquests into Christian territory, or to reconquer what had already been captured. In Spain, Christian kingdoms waged wars to recapture their homeland from the Arabs, while the Byzantine Empire in the east was engaged in centuries of war with the Muslims for control of Anatolia and other regions. In the 11th century, the Seljuk Turks, recent converts to Islam, swept through Syria and Palestine. In 1071, they defeated the Byzantines at the Battle of Manzikert, conquering almost all of Anatolia. In response, Pope Urban II called the First Crusade, asking knights from all over Europe to band together and push back the Seljuks. Over the 12th and 13th centuries, the popes called more crusades to the Holy Land and also called for crusades in Spain to help push back the Muslim powers. Crusades against Muslims were not called with the intention of converting them to Christianity. Rather, they were called to regain control of territory that had been previously Christian but had fallen to Muslim armies. Jerusalem had been conquered by the Muslims in 637 and was considered particularly important to Western Christians since it was the site of Christ's crucifixion. Indeed, Jerusalem was revered as the holiest site in the Christian cosmos, and it was particularly important to Western Europeans that it be brought again under Christian rule. When in the 11th century, news arrived that Christian pilgrims traveling to Jerusalem were being harassed and killed by the Seljuk Turks, this fact alone inspired many knights to join the First Crusade. Although the Crusades were called to reclaim lands, greed was not a primary motivation. Professor Jonathan Riley Smith, the world's foremost expert on Crusades history, has proven that crusading was incredibly dangerous and expensive, and that virtually none of the knights who went could expect to gain wealth. Indeed, they often bankrupted themselves crusading. The primary motivation for crusading was spiritual, with the knights joining because they believed that they were doing God's work by fighting to protect Christian pilgrims and to reclaim holy sites like Jerusalem, and that involving themselves in a crusade would win them spiritual merit. The Crusades to the Holy Land saw many failures but also many successes. The First Crusade and the Third Crusade, for example, were both very successful, though ultimately later, at the close of the 13th century, the last Crusader holdings in Syria and Palestine would be captured by the Muslim Mamluk Empire. However, the Crusades in Spain achieved lasting victory, with the whole of Spain being ultimately recaptured by the Christians. Later Crusades would also...
Yeah, remember the Mamelukes were the white slaves of the black Moors. Remember, the Mamelukes come after Seljukians. Those were the Moors' slaves, or the mixed slaves of the Moors.
Such as the Crusade of
why did I talk about the children? He was just talking about the children. He was just for every crusade. Cause see, he's supposed to. Where's the children that they ate? Go ahead, Joe.
If you want to learn more about the Crusades, subscribe to this channel, Real Crusades.
He didn't bring it. See, I tell you to go to TikTok and find it because they cover say the children have the same thing in TikTok. It should be in there somewhere where they ate those babies. They ate them all. Those Crusaders went down and ate those children for dinner, Joe. Ate them. It was like I think like 700 children. They cooked them and they ate them.
Let me see if I can find it.
They don't want to tell you that, Joe. They want to tell you they cooked the children and ate them.
Have you ever heard of a crusade led by children? Not warriors, not knights, just kids. It was the year 1212. Tens of thousands across Europe. Steve God had called them to take back Jerusalem, but not with swords, with faith. They marched from France and Germany. Boys, girls, some as young as 10. No armor, no supplies, just blind belief, and the hope that the sea would part for them. They thought they'd be heroes, but what awaited them was betrayal.
I want you to know
promised passage to the Holy Land.
How deep? I want you to see how deep. You see how deep the inhumanity goes. This is it. It's bottomless, Joe. So find out they ate them. Go ahead.
They were sold into slavery. Others died of hunger, disease, or simply disappeared. Of the thousands who began the journey, almost none returned. It wasn't a crusade. It was a tragedy. The Children's Crusade.
See that? They don't even show that they ate them.
A group of children think.
There you go.
If they go and just show up in Jerusalem, the Muslims will give it.
Yeah,
back.
he usually tells the truth. Let him. Yeah, I like him. He tells the truth. Go ahead, Joby.
So they don't. Children obviously walking from France to Palestine is a little tricky. So what they do is they walk to Venice, and they show up. And they ask, will you, the Venetian Navy, just take us? And the Venetians go, yeah, of course. It would be our sacred duty to take you. And the children are never heard from again. They were sold into slavery. The Venetians just put them on the ships, took them to slave markets, and just...
They didn't just take them to slavery, they ate them. See, they missed the little crucial thing. They ate them. The majority wasn't no slaves. The majority they ate them. they missed that one chance. Now you can't find it nowhere. Those children were eaten. They killed them and cooked them.
It's crazy.
Hey, right. That's real history, Joby. So none of this shit that they got you in your books in Kenya, them fake books, and what they get in America. all lies about white people. You don't know this savagery.
It's insane. Anyway, as we get into the main conversation of the day about inflation crisis, this video, of course, we know with the current ongoing wars and America is not being great.
America's coming to an end of an empire, guys. The empire spans, Joby, about 250 years. America's about 250 years. You have an end of an empire. Let me see if I can send you this video. Did I save it? Probably I saved it. I'll send it to you. So America's coming to an end of an empire, Joby. So an end of an empire, empire lasts about 250 years. The only long empire lasted long was Kemet for 3,000 years because it was peaceful, loving, and kind before we got these other savages showing up. But the empires usually only last, Joby, 250 years. So now America's in its decline as an empire, right? It's in okay, here we go. Let me send this to you right here.
All right. Let me share this and see if we can cue that as we continue.
Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdsson of World Alternative Media here, and we're joined once again by Mark Gonzalez over at First National Bullion, and we are seeing the U.S. economy contract according to the most recent numbers regarding the first quarter. And
also they're purposely contracting in America too. They're also purposely doing it though. Go ahead, Joe.
Close. Now, of course, we see obviously this trade war continue to some degree, and we're seeing numbers go up on that. But overall, we are also witnessing, as I mentioned, spending slowing. We're seeing a lot of these major retailers go down. We've been talking about the retail apocalypse for some time. We're seeing Kroger, which is a massive, massive chain, shuttering another 60 locations. We've seen Dollar General going down. Dollar General, when you see Dollar General, which takes over basically every small town and has destroyed all the small family businesses in small towns selling groceries, when you see those guys go down, they're one of the cheapest. In this age of inflation, that's a bad sign. No different than McDonald's closing all their American offices about a year and a half ago, which again shows there's a dip in people buying McDonald's, which used to be cheap. And by the way, it is not cheap anymore.
Not
It's
cheap.
chemical crap anyway, but nonetheless, I think that it's a very telling thing to see. Of course, we have this one big, beautiful bill, which is bringing in all this AI governance and AI monetary tools to the forefront at the same time as the Stable Act and the Genius Act, which brings in CBDCs and Know
It's
Your
the same
Customer
thing as the Build
laws.
Back Better.
Well, they're
Exactly.
saying that it's boosting wages and it's going to lower
A lie.
deficits. Well, once that money it gets into the hands of people that was just spent the trillions of dollars in all these bills that just came out, by the way, massive amounts of spending. A lot of it was printed. Once it gets into the consumer's hands, we're going to see inflation skyrocket even more so. We already see the Fed's Powell just days ago saying that the United States is entering into a recession. It never left. It left the last one, probably more like a depression. But then on top of that, boosting wages, no matter what you do right now, you can boost wages all you want. It's not dealing with the root issue of inflation, which everyone is being plagued with right now. So we're going to go into what all this means and more today as the U.S. economy shrank in the first 3 months of 2025, with the latest government data showing a deeper contraction than previously estimated as consumer spending lost momentum and a surge in imports widened the trade gap. So it will be interesting to diagnose this issue with Mark today. But before we do, I urge people to check that link in. It has to be the council of the concept. The web prize printed. The Federal Reserve admitted something they almost never admit, which is that we're going into recession. And of course, they're claiming all this is going to be saved by this one big, beautiful bill, which is chock full of a bunch of stuff that no one was allowed the time to read. And of course, includes a lot of AI governance.
It's saying you can't go against AI. It's saying the states can't. You're going to have a war because, listen, America's going to split up. You're in a dying empire. In this bill, this more. That's how you know Trump is a puppet. Everything the Jays want, everything, surveillance. You got AI because it's being forced on every state, saying the state cannot stop AI being implemented in their state for the next 10 years. It means it's going to take over. In 10 years, you're not going to be able to take it back. So we know this is implemented by the cats. We know this. And so you morons, it was going to be the same with Camilla. Look, they play both sides against the middle. They know they need the white racists to go along with Trump selling them out, the white nationalists. You're getting sold out, morons, by the same people who control Camilla. You know, if Camilla did this, you would read the bill and go crazy. But since Trump is doing it, you're not reading, don't know what's in it. See, they know how to play both sides against the middle. You know, you all emotional. Not understand that both people are puppets pushing an agenda that's not good for anybody. Right? So this is the destruction of the country. They know the country, listen, I think China got all the technology. I know we gave a lot away, but the cats also gave it to China. Understand this, okay? So that's what you're dealing with. And, you know, we're at the end of an empire because it's only supposed to last 250 years. So we are at the end of one, without a doubt. So, but I'm just saying, it's been sped along. Go ahead, Joe.
Tools.
I can't find
all the while, we see the
anyway.
retail apocalypse continue, which shows people are not. They don't
People
have
have no money. They have no money to go spend. Exactly. And you got people asking for money from other people. I'm not gonna say just that. So
cutting down on.
Man, listen. I told my kids, good luck to you. God damn it. No, I can't give you no more money. You're gonna go find a job or do something you can do, but you're gonna save your money. Daddy can't be your piggy bank no more. That's over. Because everything is retracting. Everything is prices high. I bought four things from the grocery store. That shit $90. Like what? I try to stay away from even going to fast food restaurant, right? Where did I eat at? And I was like, what? Almost $20? It's like, I think it was like Wendy's. I got like a Wendy's hamburger, some fries, and what other thing? That shit was like $19.95. I'm like, what? This can't be right. I said, hey man, you don't ask for the receipt. So let me see the receipt. A hamburger, some fries, and a soda. I forgot I got something. Did I get some chili or something? I think I got chili or something. And it was $19. I was like, you crazy? You can't even afford the garbage food no more. $19. I'm like, man, you got to be shitting me. There's no way. So, listen, all you dudes trying to date women, talking about take them out, I'll take you back home and drop you off at your door. Get your ass out my car.
Yeah, you gotta take me out. What do you mean? You find some money to take me out.
No, I ain't got no money. That's good luck with that. Let's be good. We go home. I buy some groceries. I was looking at TikTok video, right? The guy being a good father. He wasn't with the mom no more, and she got the nerve to come out. I want you to stop by KFC and Domino's and buy the kids some pizza and some damn chicken. He said, what? So he went to the grocery store and bought groceries. She came back. She can't eat. So he brought her to the house. He's like, I don't want these. I tell her I want chicken. I ain't spending no $100 on no damn chicken and no pizza. I can buy groceries for the kids at the same price. Are you insane? I told you, dealing with these goofy ass women don't understand the economy. You get rid of their ass now. That's why I'm not even with no woman right now. Can you with her? No, I ain't with nobody. No, I don't got no money. I'm not paying for nothing. I'm not helping you with your bills. None of that shit. It's too times are too rough. Everybody's stomach is touching their backbones, and these women today are delusional. Where you taking me? You're not spending $80 on dinner with me for what? And I'm not getting no coochie either. You like what? Man, you better kick bricks. You better go ahead, Joey. Go ahead.
Spending dramatically because they can't afford to pay, a $45 chicken breast. Can you go into what this latest contraction shows, what it's a symptom of going forward with the U.S. economy?
Well, coming out of the Biden administration, going in a lot of solid economic and fiscal help, and then you almost had some immediate effect with the tariffs that are coming in to play in that first quarter contraction. Now, they changed the structure of what is considered a recession. It used to be 2 down quarters of GDP. So I doubt they're going to call it a recession, but Powell is saying we're going to have a contraction. It's not necessarily a pretty picture, especially when you're going into a low job creation and job growth market. So you're going to get a contraction, and then the raising of the wage with the big beautiful bill, all that's going to do is squeeze the businesses that are already struggling to have to pay the employees. So you're going to see more job loss, or these companies just
you'll see people going out of business. Exactly.
Obviously, the status quo of where we're going. The standard fabric of what we consider.
That's why billionaires should never exist in an economy, guys. See, you give more money to billionaire classes who come in, ask for tax breaks, don't give no jobs, don't give decent wages. It doesn't work. It's a step because our system is created by psychopaths. You understand this? We're living in a system because we had savages conquer the damn world with violence and terror, and their system from their mind is psychopathy. So while the system is bad, doesn't work, it's unequal, unfair, because it's created by psychopaths. I want you to understand that. To its very essence, we're living under psychopathy. Go ahead, Joe.
And mortar is to be destroyed, so we can go to this AI structured system of governance. And if the AI system of governance
is more psychopathy,
how are they going to let you avoid it? Like, you will be part of an AI governed society.
Well, Mark, we have the fact that Elon Musk is saying he expects most jobs to be replaced by AI in the coming years. He's one of the main people developing it. Trump just put $500 billion into AI, which again is going to count into inflation because they're going to be printing that money. And on top of that, it's not just taxes.
That's why they wanted the KILLU.
He just made this deal with the Saudis and the Qatar government, and of course, weirdly with Syria, when Jolani in Syria, the new Al Qaeda kingpin over there, who's taken over from Assad, and they are talking about creating a total economic AI-based economic zone, and of course bringing in AI to replace all these jobs. We are looking down the barrel of an obvious shift into that digital CBDC system. So why would they want to save the economy, and who would? Again, I'm not attacking Trump, but why? Trump is just a guy who's standing there doing speeches. I mean, at the end of the day, what's
he's a puppet
here? If they can trick him into bombing Iran, if they can trick him into anything, because this bill is massive and includes
they didn't trick it. Listen, they think that Trump is they didn't trick Trump in doing anything. Trump is their puppet. He'll do what he's told to do, or he'll get a bullet in the head. So all this idea nobody tricking him to do nothing. He's there because he's there to do their bid, and that's why he's there. Yes, Trump. He's not been tricked. Trump is a moron, certified moron. So they're not tricking him to do nothing. He's doing the bidding because he'll do it or he'll end up in a ditch. John F. K. his ass. They already told him that John F. K. is dumbass. It's some failed businessman. Trump is a billionaire. But name me one successful thing he did. Well, he has it. That's right. Been propped up. His wealth is phony. Go ahead, Joby.
Infrastructure, which would explain why we're going to see, increase in wages. Okay, but what about the fact that you're replacing the jobs and you're giving that to robots? I mean, it's crazy that we're even talking about it. We all knew it was coming, but it's crazy that we're now living in the future where we're saying that the jobs are just going to be replaced by robots. I mean, what do you think?
Well, that's definitely the direction we're going. And when you
understand that understand. That's why they got to kill Ibram Torre on those guys in Sahel, because they are the monkey in the they're the fly in the ointment. Because if they don't go along with it, their whole system collapses in Africa. Because the Africans are waking up. So without Africa, none of this is impossible. Because Africa has all the resources to make everything work. To keep the damn robots working, you need to, even when they break down, all the parts would come from Africa, from the resources there. So that's why they're going to continue to try to keep killing his ass. Because he's a threat to their global whole world war order that you see him setting up through China. I hope he's smart enough to know China is the linchpin. Don't think China's your buddy. Don't be no moron. You think China and U.S. are enemies. That's fake. That's kabuki theater you're looking at. The hats can control America and the hats control China. You think you're going to run the bricks and I already told you that. We already showed you. The hats created goddamn the bricks in New York. The hats did that, okay? And the hats created China. And no matter, and don't even listen to what Alex Jones said. Oh, China overthrew the hats. The fuck they did. The fuck they did. The hats run China. That's why you had the COVID-19 shit happen. Who you think you know who's behind that? The hats. The cats. They're behind that. I think it came from China. China locking people down if they're not controlled by the hats. So the idea you think Xi Jinping runs shit in China? He's like Trump. He don't run shit but his mouth. He don't run a goddamn thing in China because they're the ones built China, put his ass in power, and they run it from behind the scenes. They're the ones getting rid of the system in the West and moving it to the East. They're the ones created BRICS. As I told you, Sachs, created by Goldman Sachs. The whole name is hat. Cats in the hat. Goldman Sachs. Cat in the hat. Yeah. That's just to fool the dumbass African. Oh, we're getting away from America. We're going to get freedom. Go to China. You're going through the same system, you moron. That's just to fool your dumbass. You ain't figured out? Go ahead.
The brick and mortar stores, and then go to touch on Kroger. Kroger's going to be closing stores, and you're going to see a lot more of this happening. And then with rising wages, it's going to squeeze them blood dry. So where's your income going to come from? It's going to be AI generated social and carbon credit based upon a UBI. And that is ultimately what they want. So
carbon credit nonsense. That's why they in Africa still land. Remember, Africa's the only place they can get carbon credits from. Africa's the only place that's not developed. These scams are wicked. They're from a mind of psychopaths. Keep Africa poor. We get them caught with this carbon credit shit and steal their land and say we're giving you money for your land not being developed. Africa, yeah, praise Jesus. Yeah, moron, praise Jesus.
You know, as far as precious metals being the only true money of this earth and what you can have to protect.
That's right.
Everything that
precious metals are gold. Africa again.
Savings or retirement before it's.
It's bitch, you guys. It's rough.
You know, we're still holding gold at about $3,400, and we're holding silver at about $35, $37. So at some point, this takes off to the next level higher. Gold $4,000, $5,000, silver $50, $100, and a lot of people are going to think shoulda, woulda, coulda, and it's probably going to coincide with rising inflation.
That's why Africa will always be the richest place, because all the silver and all the real gold, all the real money, all the real wealth is in Africa.
See, because the paper money is a scam. It's fake. It's phony. It's baloney, right? Real wealth is your gold and your silver, and that's all in Africa. So why are African people poor again? Somebody tell me. Go ahead, Joe.
Eventually, they're going to come home to roost, and I would not put it past any country to do a coordinated effort like, Project Sandman. No one's really talked about that in a while, where you have this coordinated dollar dump. And the one thing about inflation, for it to really start to hit your pocketbook, everybody, you need to understand it's the velocity of the money. How many times does that buck exchange hands, or that unit of measure being the dollar exchange hands within a day? Say you're a waiter and you get tipped $5, and that's one, and then you put the $5 to an Uber ride, that's two. The Uber puts the $5 in the gas, that's three. The higher the velocity of the money, the expectation of higher prices, and it becomes a self-fulfilling engine. We've never quite got there, but I see us really, really on the cusp of that happening. And all it takes is for people to be squeezed a little bit more than they already are, and they start changing their spending habits. So instead of going to the grocery store on a planned event on the weekend to buy the groceries for your family, 4 or 5, or even for yourself personally, you start to see that $100 becomes $120, the $120 becomes $130. So you outsmart the system. You start going to the store on a Wednesday or Tuesday. When that happens in scale, there's no way to put the genie back in the bottle, and that's how currencies all go to die and hyperinflate. So I would say start looking at some safety measures and protect yourself with the coming devaluation and removal of the dollar to this AI system while you still have time, because I've said this so many times before, eventually life presents the choices for you, and you no longer have that free will to make the choice or have a conversation with me. But I think everybody should take this to heart, and let's talk really about where you're at, where you want to be, how do you want to survive, what you have to work with. Is the metal stored? You want it on your person? There's lots of different things that we can do, but the benefit is everything First National Bullion does is the tangible metal.
Absolutely. We've talked before many times about the 63 central banks that are bringing in bail-in regimes with Basel III. And people will say, well, why would they want chaos? Like, I reposted one of our videos on YouTube recently, Mark, that we did back last year. And I wanted people to be aware of this, because those that didn't follow us when I was off of YouTube for 5 years, and I will be off again soon. So, make sure to subscribe on Rumble and BitChute.
Yeah, they're going to take your ass off.
What a lot of people missed was a lot of these major stories that almost everyone missed. I don't know of many alternative medias or medias in general that have talked about this issue. 63 central banks bringing in bail-in regimes, and people kept commenting, well, why would they want chaos? That would cause chaos. They need orders. I'm like, how do you think they're bringing in order? They bring in a new order. The new order would be digital-based surveillance.
Hegelian dialectic, moron.
Only rationed amounts of money, and you don't ever own anything, and you are so-called happy, as the World Economic Forum says. And then bring in what they're talking about with China working on ways to bring down the U.S. grid, and Iran is going to do a cyber attack. All false flags. But of course, that's exactly what they need. They need something like that so they can bring in the new surveillance system as so-called solutions for the problems they created in the first place. It's called problem reaction solution, Hegelian dialectic. So it makes perfect sense to me that all these things would correlate at the same time into a coordinated attack on your ability to access your money that you work so hard for, and then at the end of the day push you into that system because you're desperate and you need to be able to get food for your family. So they push you into that new system of governance, and you don't have a choice unless you want to live on the streets. And then you'll really own nothing, just like if you were enslaved to the system with your banking system, or with the banking system, I should say, where your house isn't owned by you, your apartment, nothing in your apartment is owned by you. Everything is a ration-based society, which is exactly what the World Economic Forum says they want to do. It starts with your money and it ends with your money. And I urge people to understand that the currency of the future might be digital, but it's also
you own nothing and you rent everything. Your pencil, you rent, your coffee maker, you rent. You keep giving people money. It's feudalism again. Every system these motherfuckers built is goddamn psychopathic. And it's gonna have to be war with these motherfuckers. In Africa, it's gonna have to be war. They're gonna have to be wiped out. I don't care if you care that that's just a fact. There's no compromising with these motherfuckers. You're dealing with psychopathy on a level that you can't fathom right now. It's gonna have to be a fucking war. Either we win or they win, but either way, we both can't live on this planet together no fucking more.
compliance is a real currency of the future. Your credit, your money is based on how much you obey, and what will you have to obey. It's a scary picture. And
everything they take you is to take you into slavery. Everything is slavery with these people. Everything is some form of slavery. Everything. Because they allow the psychopaths to get complete control of everything. The billionaire, there shouldn't be no fucking billionaires on this planet. If you're dealing with a just, everybody, Africa never had no billionaires. Everything was just and equal, right? People with equality. You know, why you didn't find no slavery in ancient Kemet? You know, the goofy Bibles all wrong. The slaves built pyramids. There wasn't no slavery in Kemet, motherfucker. Africans didn't practice slavery. They knew it was morally wrong. Wait until they lost power and all you psychopaths got power and slavery was introduced. Go ahead, Joe.
Crazy conspiracy theory here is what they say they want to do. So yeah, they want chaos because then they could bring in order and we could shift into the new system of AI governance, of technocratic governance, of the Great Reset, which includes digital IDs, which is and CBDCs and digital IDs
and also not with just that, digital IDs, and they want to make they're gonna come finally tell you guys that cloning is normal. So you guys already know clone. You think that's crazy? They already know how to make clones. They're gonna teach you about, because they also want to merge AI with man machine. Transhumanism is where they want to go. That's why if we look in our blood bodies right now, and everything been eating and smoking and drinking, and we got goddamn nanobots all throughout our body right now. Yeah, all of us. All of us that didn't even take the BAC-INEs because the shit they've been dropping on us from the skies, the shit that we've been eating. That's why I said, as a must. I don't say that. If I keep saying, I got to be more committed. I got to do the shows on the weekend. You must get your black ass out the sun gates. Because if I got a valid, all you guys' blood, I bet we all got nanobots up in that motherfucker. We all got these nanobots up in us. From the water we drink, they put the shit in everything. Whether you took the BAC-INEs because they're trying to hook up to the mainframe. That's what Elon Musk Skylink is all about. That's just been, this how it gets really deep and psychopathic. Put you in a goddamn mainframe. Have you political control? That's why all your new thing is 5G. That's why everything they want to put you in one of these damn electrical cars that have nobody driving. So if you got a line, they can just run your ass off a cliff because all controlled by them. These new systems they have, lasers and shit, all of the goddamn weaponized technology. This ain't. They can just blow up your fucking heart. And you know I'm telling the truth because they already told you they had the heart attack done 50 years ago that you couldn't see, feel, or nothing. They just shoot the ray at your ass, and like all these goofy African leaders that didn't follow instructions, they blow up their goddamn heart. They didn't even know what happened. Oh, we got a massive heart attack. Oh, that's enough of him, Joe. I won't say that's enough. That's enough of these guys. Do this for me, Joby, real quick. Go to TikTok real quick and say the CIA heart attack gun. Now this is 50 years ago that they were forced to tell that they had it. Imagine what they got now. Technology 50 years, and we know technology doubles every 2 or 3 months now. Doubles. This is 50 years ago. So imagine the shit they got now. But you got no clue. They just say this a CIA heart attack gun. You walking down the street, they just hit you with a ray. Somebody next to you, what's going on with you, Joe? Yeah. You having a heart attack?
Fire a
Joe, don't she got hit with a goddamn ray she can't see.
A target up to 100 meters away.
Energy.
This dart is so small that the target won't even feel the impact. But within minutes, they'll drop dead, and no one will ever suspect it was murder.
It shoots a tiny dart made of ice that would lodge into the skin, leaving only a small red dot. Each of these darts are loaded with a deadly poison from shellfish, and once inside the body, the poison disrupts nerve signals, which paralyzes muscles. This would cause the heart to beat in a weird, uneven rhythm until it completely stopped, killing the person within minutes. These guns were used by the CIA to take out people without leaving a trace, making it look like a heart attack.
Dang, this is crazy. Like, again, how deep they can really go. This is crazy. Just walking, minding your business, and you die out of a heart attack. This is crazy.
Mind of a psychopath.
Where the CIA can make it look like you had a heart attack by just shooting, we learned about the heart attack gun, where the CIA can make it look like you had a heart attack, being, a dart at you, taking the dart out, and then it mimics a heart attack. Makes you wonder how many people in public life actually have had a heart attack gun against them.
Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, or or Andrew Breitbart, right? You never know. Yeah, Stanley Kubrick. Interesting. I never thought about that. And so, the essence of the MK Ultra was that the CIA was actively involved in trying to proliferate mass mind control, and also being able to find an individual subject and be able to change their behavior and maybe turn them into someone who was violent, who otherwise was not.
That's crazy. This is so insane. So they have literally weapons to do a lot, a whole lot. Just so many.
That's 50 years ago. Imagine what they got today.
How am I supposed to know? I just learned about this today. So yes, I'm shocked. Okay. How am I supposed to know that they developed literally? I know about this weather control weapons now, but this is crazy. I've never heard about this. This is the first time I'm hearing about this. This is just insane. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know what we're dealing with, but it's insane.
You're a psychopath. And I've told you that no. I'm gonna say it shouldn't shock you. Should. But I'm gonna tell you but that technology, that's 50 years ago. So imagine today how advanced shit they got. That's why even Torres all got gloves and shit around his neck, shit on his head. So they won't shoot his ass with something, Joby.
As we continue, I see from where I left the comments from, I see earlier we had Jabba saying that the fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel was about parents leaving their two kids alone.
Yes, exactly. That's the fairy tale about them eating. Exactly. The fairy tales are about, they tell the truth. All them nursery rhymes about them eating kids, and Hansel and Gretel going out in the forest and meeting a lady, and she ate them, trying to put them in a oven and eat them. That was normal in Europe, eating the children. I just gave Joby one story about the Crusader children. They ate all them, but no, that was their culture. And then they turned around and said the Africans were cannibals. How you gonna be a cannibal in Africa? Everything grows in Africa. Everything is free, fruits and vegetables everywhere. African Indians never had to be no damn cannibals. They did. They the ones that didn't have no resources. Remember, they had no farm. Their farms were all fucked up. They had no food. That's where the Europeans come from. No food, they know how to farm. And so they would eat the babies. They would just, chop them in stews and eat them. But they don't want you to know none of that real history. That's why none of their books. You can't put in Google. Let me say Google. Let's say Joby looks this up. Say on Google. Let's see if Google tells the truth. Just say the Crusader children that got eaten. The Crusader. The third Crusade children who got eaten. And I'm see if Google says that. They hide everything. You used to find that years ago. But see, they know everybody was savages. Fake history is a lie. Everybody is a lie. That's why they got African history a lie.
You're breaking on your end.
Killers and animals shit. I'm breaking up.
Yeah, you are breaking on your end, but I see like 2-3 articles talking about cannibalism during crusade. Another one talks about the crusader cannibals. And another one talks about was cannibalism among crusaders. So let's see.
Yeah, they won a battle, and they won a battle, though.
That's crazy. Yeah, so it's one article literally talking about it. So I won't go deeper into it. But I also see Jason says lost kid there. Jason says they still eat kids today, just like they still don't take boats. It's insane. And also see you saying especially spreads cooking books. And you also add in Goldilocks, and the third bear story was strange one to Jiba Jabba. And I also see Jiba says this is why all first editions of books are so important. I agree with you. Also, he says if there isn't taxes on tips, why would a business owner increase wages? I agree. Good question. They also see Jason says can't Carl's Junior menu, B1525 double bacon, onion rings burger, combo, etc. I didn't get that what it was about, but I also see Jason says that's why some brothers from all around going back to the trade like plumbing. It's high demand for that job because older people are going into retirement. Let me enlarge my screen. I'm really struggling to read. Into retirement also being brick to wall mansions. And I also see Jabba says like here paying farmers not to farm, Chinese still cleaning out that flood water mud. Jason says and giving farmers them GMO terminator seeds, plants grow once you die and die. Mm-hmm. If the components for the grind are made in China, it's easy to sabotage seed products to distract like the Hamas beepers. And Jason says, I haven't been sick within the last 20 years, but everything moves on a frequency and vibration. I'm just strong minded. That's amazing. So says that's why Crazy George said Michael Jackson was killed by a laser. And then I also see Jason said, Jabba Jabba says, kid always cuts you off mid sentence. I know, man. I'm so used to it nowadays. At some
What?
point,
What made sense? What made sense? The Joby said I could have. Where? Go ahead.
I won't say much. Yeah. I'm glad you noticed Jibba Jabba. You does that. You're going to
What?
make a sentence. Kid is gonna cut that whole shit off. I'm like, God damn. All right.
Joby don't never tell you that Joby be muting my damn mic either, huh? How about that?
Yeah, when you're making noise in whatever you're doing.
Don't act like she's an innocent bystander. Joby be muting my ass. She'll tell you how that.
Yes, because when you're doing your all other things over there, so I have to mute it. But anyway, with the last video of the day I'm gonna share is this one as we literally get closer to winding up. Let me share this one as we continue. Shout out to Oprah.
Believed to be victims of ritual sacrifice have been uncovered in a large unmarked grave deep within the forest, on the grounds of what was supposed to be a safe haven, one of Oprah Winfrey's African schools for orphans.
South Africa.
These parentless children were preyed upon. Many vanished without a trace, some sold overseas, while the rest were sacrificed in blood rituals and discarded like waste, their bodies buried in an unmarked grave. Locals close to the situation describe it as a highly organized operation, one so profitable the perpetrators believed they were untouchable, and claim that both law enforcement and the media were paid off to keep it quiet. Why isn't this front page news in every newspaper in the country? Where is the mainstream media? The short answer is mainstream media is hard at work covering up the crimes globalist leads, including the depraved crimes of Oprah Winfrey. Before we dive in, a quick word at VPN.
Which Oprah are we talking about? Yeah, there's like 5 different Oprahs. Is the real Oprah dead? Like 5 different Oprahs running around here. And you can tell We can tell by the teeth and the gums and some that hair. Like, which Oprah they got out of here? But go ahead.
All of them.
net/TPV for more. Is the first African-American billionaire actually the world's most prolific pimp and child sex trafficker? According to investigators, Oprah Winfrey has been hiding in plain sight for decades, conspiring with some of the world's most notorious pedophiles and sex traffickers, and taking every opportunity to normalize child sexual abuse in public forums.
She been sniffing South African coochie.
The abuser is any good.
That's right. I can't wait to get over sniffing some South African coochie.
Now that she knows we're onto her, historical episodes in which she normalizes the most horrific crimes against children are being scrubbed from the internet.
Was used also in worshiping the devil, participated in human sacrifice rituals and cannibalism. You come from generations
cannibalism.
of abuse?
Yes, my family has an extensive family tree. It's gone back
She's a J. She's a cat. Remember, she's one of those cats. The cats do that. You from what? I'm from a cat family. Yeah, we know. We know you from a cat family.
Anyone else think it's a nice Jewish family?
Told you.
The outside, you appear
Cat
to be a nice
family.
Jewish girl.
Definitely.
And you all are worshiping the devil inside the home?
Right. There's other
That's-
Jewish families.
That's what Jehovah is. Jehovah is the devil.
Families. There would be
Alright.
rituals in which babies would be sacrificed, and you would have to, you know,
babies.
People who bred babies in their family.
Can we eat them?
No, a lot of people were overweight, so you
Right.
couldn't tell if they were pregnant or not. When I was very young, I was forced to participate in that, in which I had to sacrifice an infant.
I ate a baby.
Sacrifice is to what? Is to bring you what? What are you sacrificing for?
For power.
Uh-huh. Power. And so, were you ever used? Were you ever used yourself?
I was molested. I was raped several times.
And what's your mother doing?
She's lives in the Chicago metropolitan area. She's on the Human Relations Commission of the town that she lives in, and she's an upstanding citizen. Nobody would suspect her.
An outstanding citizen who nobody would suspect? Almost sounds like Oprah herself, who has spent millions manipulating the media and carefully crafting an image that makes her look spotless, untouchable even. Oprah knows the stakes are sky high. Her sprawling empire, a glittering fortress, teetering on the rotten core of lies, manipulation and abuse. One wrong move and the whole thing could come crashing down. That's why Oprah became an expert at manipulating young stars.
It feels good. I mean, if you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking your penis, it feels good.
What?
Even though you don't have a name for what that is, it feels good.
It's called
According to
molestation,
the
lady.
mainstream media, Oprah's laundry list of paedophile connections is just an unfortunate coincidence. It's like the extensive list of Clinton associates who wound up dead in bizarre circumstances, often committing suicide by putting 2 bullet holes in the back of their own head. One coincidence after another.
Commit suicide by putting 2
After
bullets in the
Oprah's
back.
close friend Jerry Harris was sentenced to 12 years in prison on child sex crimes in July, the media fact-checked anybody who dared to point out that he was Oprah's protege. This was information they did not want to get out. But in reality, Harris was the star of Oprah's Netflix show Cheer, and she personally groomed him for the role. Then, like many of her other friends, Harris was exposed as a child rapist. But Jerry Harris was just the tip of the iceberg. Oprah's ties to the planet's richest, most depraved billionaire pedophiles, Epstein, Diddy, John of God, on some random fluke. John of God wasn't just Oprah's so-called faith healer, he
Taking all
was her
women.
business partner,
Yep,
tangled
God.
deep in each other's web of coercion and abuse of the worst kind. Think human egg farms, babies sold around the world to the highest bidder, and child sex factories, where the children don't have names or birth certificates. The kind of cursed places that former CIA agents have warned us about for years.
Oprah Winfrey ties to sex trafficking through convicted molester John of God. Now this guy's crazy. I actually get a few chills from the story. I done extra research into John of God, doing a few more articles, and this guy's connected to some supernatural
he said he was
entity or
Jesus.
something like that. There's something going on.
He
Anyway,
said, Jesus
Oprah
told me
Winfrey
I
and
want
her
your cookie.
BFF. The man in this photo is, quote, John of God. Oprah promoted him as a miracle healer. This man kept women chained to impregnate so he could sell their babies for organs, adrenochrome harvesting
Organ
for sex
harvesting.
trafficking, for satanic sacrifice, and who knows what else. He was arrested in December of 2018. Did you hear about it in the mainstream media? No.
Nope.
There are more photos of Oprah and John of God. This is John of God and Maria.
Remember, she's also was caught in the Weinstein case. Remember, Oprah was also caught up in the Weinstein case too, when she was taking young actresses to Harvey Weinstein. Remember, Lupita said she would never trust Oprah again because Lupita was chased around the room in New York by Weinstein. Give me that Kenyan coochie. Even though you were born in Mexico, but you're Kenyan, damn it. Come on.
Notorious sex criminal Joao Teixeira, aka John of God, as a miraculous faith healer, one who could cure cancer, giving him international recognition. Joao Teixeira is now serving 19 years in prison for the rape of 4 women. He is facing additional cases related to several sex crimes, including keeping teenage women as sex slaves in underground mines, forcing them to have his children, and selling their babies internationally for tens of thousands of dollars.
I used to tell my ex-wife and her dumbass them Oprah was no good. For I even noticed, you could tell she was just sleazy. And show this, I said, Oprah's a rotten broad. I ain't even have none of this evidence yet. It was all crazy on me. Proven right again.
Go
ahead, Joe.
Oprah runs her own leadership academy for girls in Africa.
This was a huge global child trafficking operation.
You guys remember Cammie back in the day? Oprah was Cammie's hit. Oprah was Cammie's idol. That took Cammie. She's no good. Telling sex traffickers, no, Kate, she's my reporting. All these African girls be worshiping Oprah no good ass. Go ahead, Chuck.
Involving elite VIPs that has been
I will
systematically
admit, Joe.
under the
That Joe was the only one I know never worshiped no Oprah. I want to be just like Oprah. I never joke said that in my life.
Hell no. I don't want to be like no one. I've never even said I want to be
I
like
know.
you.
You want to be like you. I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm giving you credit.
Why would they circle the wagons around such an evil figure? Because the media is bought and paid for by the elite.
Look at this psychopath.
Buying them off and keep quiet about the skeletons in their closet.
They're not paying them off. They own the media. They own them.
Campbell and Marina Abramovich, who filmed a documentary at his compound in Brazil in 2016.
Raising consciousness through art.
Look at this crazy shit. What's this called? What's this shit? This the crazy shit that Beyonce and Jay-Z would do. What's it called? With this, we had looked up the last time. Abramovich.
But the story gets even darker. Sabrina Bittencourt, the woman who originally blew the whistle and exposed the child trafficking operation,
Spirit cooking. That was called spirit
after John
cooking.
God was arrested. The authorities quickly ruled it was a suicide. But her son was quoted on social media as saying they killed my mother. Oprah refused to comment. She knew the media would cover for her. Because it wasn't just in Brazil that her close contacts were involved in the most horrific crimes tied to the international trade in children's bodies. What's been uncovered in Africa is beyond disturbing. It's more horrific than anybody imagined. We'll bring you the full story right after this message from our sponsor. Before we go on,
Chuck Norris
is 84 years old, got more stamina and energy to burn.
Oh no! Oh
don't
no!
want to fix stuff they profit.
No,
But only allowed to see their children no more than once a month. Now, a former satanic church leader is blowing the whistle about Oprah's school in South Africa and its ties to the international.
What's wrong with this guy's head?
So, the other person again that we mentioned.
This guy's got a weird head.
Okay. So, Oprah Winfrey had a school here in South Africa. Oprah Winfrey School for Orphans, quite a while ago. It was years ago. He was very much involved with that as well. And the children disappeared from there. He was very much involved with
Was
that
this a
as
scandal? Like, was this a known
This
thing?
was, yeah. Go and Google it.
So if I Google missing kids from Oprah's preschool, it will come
In
up.
South Africa, it will come up.
So what happened to those kids?
You guess.
They were used in sacrifices? Really? Okay, I don't know if any of this is true. I don't know anything about this, but
And
if that
again,
is true, that's shocking.
This is what I've heard from people who knew the perpetrators very well. And this is one of the founding members of the South African Satanic Church and the person who funded a lot of the legal
So
stuff.
that guy was up to some really dark stuff, eh?
So the children that disappeared from that specific school, a lot of
That's
them
why
were
they
never
put these
found.
schools in Africa because there's no defense. All the leaders are corrupt. You can always do all this wicked, heinous shit in Africa. Because sadly, most of the Africans are ignorant. They worship motherfuckers like an Oprah. She's a famous person. So, like Joby said, the Africans don't have no critical thinking, so they're easily preyed in a system that doesn't defend them. So you always find all these wicked ass schools being created in Africa where they raping them, murdering, stealing. It's crazy. Go ahead, Joe.
Ask you, if I sit here and ask you, how many children do you know that go missing in this country? We're not talking about the world yet. We're talking about this country. Okay, how many children goes missing in this country that they are never found? Their bodies are never found.
I think the majority.
Oprah has funded various schools in poor parts of the world, including Haiti, South Africa, and Uganda. And they all have one thing in common. Children have reported sexual abuse, and children have gone missing. Yet the authorities in these jurisdictions never act against the
Haiti,
schools.
Uganda.
The local media are terrified to report on the case. Occasionally a whisper gets out, but then it quickly gets deleted. Like this BBC News article, which was published on October the 12th, 2011, during a surge in disappearances connected to an Oprah-funded school. Days later, the article was memory holed, never to be seen again. Only screenshots remain. Why is the media, including local news outlets, so determined to bury this story? According to a former Ugandan paralegal, whose firm had direct dealings with the school, it's not just silence, it's payoffs. Journalists, editors, even investigators. They're being bought off to keep the truth hidden and the scandal contained. But what he revealed next is truly chilling. A mass grave discovered near the Oprah-funded school for orphans containing hundreds of children's bodies. And these weren't just victims, they were mutilated. The bodies bore clear signs of ritual sacrifice.
I used to work at near that charity school, the one owned by the American celebrity Oprah Winfrey, a very famous woman. She came here saying she wanted to help African children. The media loved her. Big cameras, people from all over the world, smiling faces. Even the president wanted to be seen shaking her hand.
Of course, you
but
said
what
like
was happening
Oprah.
behind the cameras, it was terrible, evil. The school looked beautiful, clean buildings, laptops, books, but children were disappearing. Mostly the orphans, no parents, no family to ask questions. At first, people thought they ran away, but too many were missing, too many. Everyone in the area knew something was wrong. We whispered, but we were afraid. The police, they did nothing. They were paid off. I saw the envelopes, I saw the men. I even knew one officer who tried to ask questions. He was moved to a small town on the other side of the country, just like that. Eventually, the whispers got louder. Then one day, we found it. It was behind the school grounds, hidden under plastic sheeting like a tarp. There were bodies underneath, small ones, dozens, maybe hundreds. Some were old, some were mutilated and cut apart. Many had marks on them, ritual markings. I don't like to say it, but it was clear. These children were sacrificed. I wanted to speak. I called someone I trusted in the media. A journalist came, he saw it. He took pictures. He promised to report it. A week later, nothing. Silence. Then he disappeared. The editor retired. 2 other reporters left their jobs. They were paid off. After that, no one wanted to touch the story. It was cursed and everybody was afraid. I went back to the police. They warned me. Said I should forget what I saw for my own good. One of my friends who tried to speak, he died in a car crash that didn't make sense. We all knew. I left my job. I was too scared, but the memories don't leave me. I still hear the cries of those children in my dreams. People think Africa is a place where evil can hide because we are poor. The rich
Exactly.
and famous come here to hunt our animals and our children because they face
Exactly.
no consequences.
Exactly.
But I am speaking now. Even if I disappear, at least I said something. That woman, the celebrity, she's not a savior. She's a monster, and too many people helped her. Please, don't let this be buried again.
Of course, the mainstream media are doing everything they can to circle the wagons and protect elite predators and their enablers and traffickers. Local people, including eyewitnesses to various sickening crimes, are being silenced to protect the perpetrators. These are high-level people, global elites, who are bonded by the same secrets and sick agenda. Oprah is a member of the Billionaires Club, or the so-called Good Club, along with Bill Gates, George Soros, Warren Buffett, and Ted Turner. The so-called Good Club meet behind closed doors and discuss plans to depopulate the world. Again, this isn't a conspiracy theory, it's a conspiracy fact.
Oprah was herself a teenage prostitute. She stokes the fires of racism in America. And she is a member of the Billionaire Club, or the Good Club, along with Bill Gates, George Soros, Warren Buffett, David Rockefeller, and Ted Turner. The so-called Good Club meets behind closed doors and discusses plans for global depopulation. The Great Awakening is upon us. When will humanity begin seeing these billionaire celebrities for who they really are?
The mainstream media used to report on it until they were completely co-opted by the elites. Now, they churn out false fact checks denying they exist. If the mainstream media won't do their job and report on the real news, then somebody has to do it. Here at the People's Voice, we're determined to...
Yeah, so that's the video I wanted to share literally because it's so many of these, these celebrities who are working under the globalists, coming here with this charity
Exactly.
type of shit, creating these organizations. And because they know literally people here are so much desperate,
Yes,
people,
yeah.
system doesn't work, doesn't favor us. So any little help, it seems like Jesus has literally come to save you. So hallelujah.
Yep.
You should be excited. You should,
Exactly.
worship these people like gods, especially looking at where they're coming from. You're like, this is God himself, opera, the star. It's opera, I study under Oprah's organization. What do you study? Where
All
do
right.
you go? It's
Remember 3 years ago, you guys out there at the school, you got in some kind of foundation says it's about Bill Gates. They're like, it's Bill Gates. It's Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Not knowing how wicked these motherfuckers are. Remember that?
Come again. I was reading a comment here of Jiba Jabba.
Oh. See, I would interrupt you when you and your comment with jibber jabber ass. Remember when you guys are out at the school, you, Katie, and Shamani, and the girls with some kind of foundation? They said, "Yeah, this is with Bill Gates, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation." That kind of shit.
I remember it was like it was like a flex. Oh, we work for
Exactly.
and I don't understand, man. We need to change our mentality with this white man syndrome that we have, thinking it's a good thing to be around.
Like, yeah, we were with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Wicked as shit.
But as we wind up, as we come to the end of today's conversation, I see Jason earlier was saying they've been finding bodies shacking together, washing up on shows now. It's crazy. I also see Jiba Jabba says Oprah had a spiritual.
Oh yeah, with the heads cut off. Those are Mexicans, I think. Jason, those are Mexicans they found. They thrown them in the ocean outside of America. I think was it over by California, or over here by Florida somewhere. What was it, in the Atlantic or the Pacific? They found them shackled together and their heads chopped off. Bunch of Hispanics. All right.
Says no, Jiba Jabba says she wrapped the minds of 2 generations of black women, black Americans.
Sure did. You couldn't tell a black woman nothing about Oprah. She fight. They fight you in the street, Joby.
Crazy. It's crazy.
All right.
I don't understand. I don't understand people being caught up with this celebrity nonsense. I don't know.
I never understood. I understand either, Joby.
Something different. It also surprises me, being honest. I was never caught up in, or I'm influenced by so and so. Or
I'll give you credit. You wasn't. I agree. I give you credit. I give you credit. You haven't been.
I've seen women wanting to be Nicki Minaj so bad, wanting to be Cardi B so bad.
Cardi B, I don't get it. And Cardi B's career probably over. They don't want to even listen. I didn't know Cardi B only made one album. All this hype, she only had one album out all these years. So she's making a new album, and the label's like, nah, we don't think you've been hot. We might not even release this shit.
Let's see what's happening. But yeah, you just reason
all that hype for that woman. I'm in a dug. I ain't know she only. I said she only did one album. All this hype this lady got, everybody look. She only did one album. I didn't even know that. I'm like, no way. This is made up hype. She only got one album. That blew my mind. What?
Yep. Yeah, but she's been doing all those years too. So it's not like she's been doing features back to back.
What's she been doing? Other people's album? Man, because how long the album came out? Like 5 or 6 years ago? At least I heard about that at least 5 or 6 years ago. So how the hell you gonna do one album in 6 years? Man, get out of here.
Yep.
And now the album is getting rid of her ass because they said, that's 6 years ago. We don't believe you can sell no more music. You're not really hot right now. I'm like, dang. I said that was only her first album. I'm too old now. Yeah, dang, it's her first album. Get your old ass. She's supposed to. I didn't know shit.
But anyway, family, right here. Our conversation ends here today. Hope you guys have learned something.
It might have been the only show we did today, right? Because the internet was off.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out to the internet. They did their best to ensure the internet was back before they left. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone who has been here with us tonight, and to those who shall be catching this on a replay. Also, leave your comments.
Tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow we're gonna be talking about there's 40. Is it 34 again? Like Joe, we did 2 years ago. There's 34 missing black women again. You guys, I'm sure you guys probably heard about, especially if you've been on TikTok. There's 34 missing black women in the last month. Of course, the mainstream media ain't talked about them. 34 missing black women that are just missing.
Yeah.
Just gone.
I saw the story.
Last month. Mm-hmm. And so you know what's going on. They've been swept up from the streets. And it's got something to do with Joby was just mentioning today with Oprah. 34 black females are missing in the DMV area. That's Maryland. That's where you get the biggest Kenyan population of women too. The DMV got DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. So we talked about that like 2 or 3 years ago. Man, a bunch of black women missing from there again, and nobody ever found them again.
Yeah. So
no media coverage. None. Much love, guys.
Yeah, we'll discuss on that tomorrow, family. Have yourselves a beautiful day. Ensure you tune in, subscribe, follow us on Rumble Feature.
How does 34 girls go missing and nobody said and nobody knows that? Anyway. Yeah, man.
A good day. So ensure you hit that like button before you leave. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
And one last thing I'm gonna say. One last thing before we're about to leave. I want somebody to find out who in Congress is known as Ladybug, and why is he known as that? Who in Congress is known as Ladybug, and why is he known as what? Why is this person nicknamed called Ladybug? You gotta let me know what you find out.
All right.
Tomorrow. Who's Ladybug? I'll tell Joby when we end the show.